Hello, guys, and welcome back to this premium content. This will be a teaser, actually, for the community. So they will see what kind of analysis I'm doing for my Discord service. This will be the only one I will be posting out of the Discord with such info, with this kind of specific data uh, to evaluate. So let's bring on here. We are now today assessing the price action of the Bitcoin chart on the daily. Actually, we are seeing today that we had the start of the weekly candle here and breaking the ninth red streak weekly candles, and the 10th has been green. Actually, we had a long squeeze right here, a short squeeze right here, and we are experiencing a little bit of price appreciation. Technical analysis side, from a technical analysis side here, um, we have tested as support this trend line here and the macro range bottom, the trend line on the bottom range here of the yearly accumulation distribution area, as you want to name it. And we are again at a resistance right here. As you see, this is most likely a resistance here and here, and we are retesting the 50 RSI actually on the daily. That is this blue line right here. That is sitting around 31k actually. If we test this as support, we could see at 32.5 for I will put I will if I took if I would have put took a position here today, I would have made a limit sell or a no-call order, um, from obviously taking a stop loss under the last higher low, maybe a little low, and take profit on this 50 50 SMA on the daily chart at 33.5 or 33 here in this zone. Starting from here, I will just I would have just split my profit taking orders from here, and maybe I left letting with something left to take profit right here on the 100-day EMA, exponential moving average. Um, the reasons I will explain the reasons in a second moment right here. For now, let's just focus on the price action. Let's focus here on this short squeeze. We know that this is a short squeeze because we had our liquidation here on CoinGlass, our liquidation chart that is telling us on the BTC front that we today, 6 June 2022, as you see, we experienced a 45 million short squeeze on this chart, really low as an amount if compared with the 1st June 2022, where we experienced a 336 million long squeeze, resulting in this candle right here. But still, uh, somewhat of a short squeeze. And today, the founding rate are more positive than not for BTC. You see the actual the actual founding rate right here. Founding rate means that in this case, green founding rate means that longs are paying shorts to open positions. So there are a long bias on the derivative markets when they are green, more than one when they are uh, more than 0.01, when instead they are less than 0.01 or less than zero anyway. It means there is a short bias going on the derivatives markets. 0.01 is actually the neutral founding rate from every exchange's zero bias rate of founding. From the futures open interest chart, we can see still from CoinGlass here that USD open interest is declining since the liquidation we had here um, on the December capitulation we experienced last year, and still declining some sort. Meanwhile, the BTC terms open interest is still growing, even if even since the last capitulation of December, even if we are going into a downturn all along the way here. This why because actually we have the SEC approving two futures ETFs, and so bringing in more and more volume and capital into these markets. And we are actually experiencing this kind of short squeeze here. These are all confirmations about that. But if we watch more on on-chain data, moving on from technical analysis here, if we watch average spent coin age, actually average spent output lifespan metric on the on-chain, we can see that less and less days are being valued by this metric. That that actually that we on-chain analysts use to assess if the market is experiencing long-term holders spending as a whole or not. Actually, we see in this chart the average spent output lifespan is a metric used to know the mean time the uh, uh, the coins were hodled before being spent. Okay, in this case, we are having a 7 DMA for this metric because the metric itself is if you watch the ASL row, it's actually very noisy as a metric. So we use a 7 DMA to assess the actual mean value of all this noisy, to remove all this noise from the chart. And we are seeing that this metric is going actually down as a value. And this means, and this we can use this data right here to assess that this market is driven by short-term holders right now, more than long-term holders, because coins with less and less days are being spent on chain. Moving on, we can see on the Bitcoin days destroyed that we have, this is a confirmation of the same metric. Bitcoin days destroyed actually is a metric used, you can see right here on the right, is a metric that we use to assess if in the market we are experiencing the same thing, a long-term holders spending or not. Actually, the confirmation that we have is for this metric that we are not experiencing a huge increase like this when we had this the bull run last year and before. These kind of values, we are keep this a steady rate of an on-chain value, and they are not so there. This metric is quiet, more or less quiet. We are not experiencing coin days destroyed. How this metric is calculated? This metric is calculated taking the days from let's make an example. You have one coin on your wallet. This coin is hodled through 1 year, okay, and you spend it in 1 year. Every single day you hodl this coin. This coin mature one day. So at the end of the year, you have 365 days on your coin. When you spend it, 365 days are being valued on this chart. So you will see a spike. The more you hodled, if a coin with 8 years of hodling, I don't know, Satoshi is spending his coins, we will see a huge spike more than this, actually, because there are a lot of coins right there, 8 years, a huge spike in this metric, to make an example. But we are using this just a confirmation of the our asshole here metric. Then we move on short-term order realized price. Short-term order realized price, I talked already about this metric. Actually, is the cost basis of all short-term orders. And the cost basis, the mean price, meaning the mean price they use to vote their bitcoins. Actually, the short-term holders and long-term holders, we have to make a distinction here for people that don't know what these terms may mean. Short-term holders are actually people that have an history of holding their coins, or they hold their coins less than 150 days. Actually, Glassnode uses 155 days or median, as a median, and this chart right here takes in consideration 149 days because they made another study on the spending behavior of the people in the market, of the market participants. But you can assess without being too technical, because there is also a 20-day gradient transition gradient here to make make another technical, without being too technical anyway. um, we we just know that less than 5 months, you have an history to spend more your coins. If you hodl through more than 5 months, you are a long-term holders. You became slowly a long-term holder, and you have less probability to spend your coins. Okay, so your coins, when you spend your coins because you hodled through more and more price action, your spending is more valuable to, as you may notice. We Onchain analysts watch more long-term holders behavior than short-term holders behavior, because short-term holders are actually the paper hands. Meanwhile, the long-term holders are actually the diamond hands. And if we knew that diamond hands are selling, we will knew that someone, maybe a large group of investors, wealth investors, institution, or people like that, are usually long-term holders. So are their spending are meaningful. Anyway, getting to the chart here, we know we are seeing that this price, this mean price, this cost basis of the short-term holders is actually sitting at 36.7k. And 36.7k, if we watch the price action here chart from TradingView, we can see that is more or less the 100-day EMA from the P price chart. So this could be a really, really good price to sell if we can get to it. I won't repeat myself, but if I were you, this is not obviously financial advice, but if I were you, I would have put my my profit taken here, here, and here, splitting. But we just go on. We may just go on. Why this metric is important? Because as you see, every time we retest it as a support right here, every time we retested it as a support, we experienced a price appreciation. Meanwhile, every time we broke below and retested as a resistance, we kept going below. So this is a metric, a really important metric, because it's the break-even point for short-term holders. Are really and short-term holders are a huge part of the network. Actually, maybe a 20%, but going maybe up to here in a bull run, they may go as a 30%, a 30%, 50%. We don't know. We just go with the value right here. But this is not all, because we have also long-term holders realized price that is the same, but this is for long-term holders. Actually, their cost basis is around 20k right here. And as you see, it made a support for all the chart, and every time we broke below, it was a really, really good time to buy all the Bitcoin you could. And so we are watching this for a very bottom. We may never see this price anyway, because 20k is really down below. To reach 20k, actually, we would need maybe, I don't know, a third world war, something like that. A really, really bad news, the merge that's failing, and more. I don't know. Actually, 20k is more or less the 50 SMA for the monthly chart of Bitcoin. We will see, but I don't think we can get it. We never know, but I don't think we will never get there. Maybe if we are unlucky, we get to 26k again. We may retest this low here. But for now, it's too early to say such a things. 20k, or I don't think so. So let's bring on here. the next chart I want to talk about today is the realized profit distribution. What is realized profit distribution? Is the distribution, so the realized profit divided for amount and time the coin was hodled through. So we have different here, here below here, different uh, timestamps for different time hodlers. 8 here to infinity, actually, as you see, is it's purple. We have seen we take this 101, okay, so we may see it better. 8 to infinity right here for realized profit, okay, was a little bit here. The realized profit was taken here, um, next to the very bottom, and and more or less we had nothing more than just this as a realized profit, and a little bit more here, but not too much. This is significant for sure, but it's more isolated. It's not going. This is not an actual uptrend. These are single entities that are dumping somehow, maybe because of Luna Foundation guards or anything else um, that they see as a major disruption in the market, or just taking profit from older coins. Someone that has discovered an old wallet, something like that. Is not a real uptrend on this metric, so we're not worried about that. But anyway, it's meaningful, and it helped a lot to stay down below for a little, for sure. 4 to 8 year here realized distribution is actually massive, but in some cases, and as you see, we here helped the price to stop and to come down again. Meanwhile, many other times it was a little bit too early on the short term side, but also getting a little bit of profit right here. I'm saying this right. I'm actually talking about spending behavior, right? This realized profit distribution, because wait a second that I take another chart right here. I will I will let you know. Okay, because the adjusted stopper right here, it's the adjusted stopper is the spent output profit ratio. Actually, it mean that all the all the coins are being spent at a loss or at a profit. If below one are spent at a loss, if above one, coins are spent at a profit for all market participants. So we are now seeing that this kind of behavior right here, where adjusted stopper is coming back to one, and more of the time adjusted stopper, as seen in bear markets, is down below one. Meanwhile, in bull markets, is up above one, and this is seen on the chart right here, as you see. So we know that someone is selling it at a loss, but we don't know who is spending at a loss. Okay, so to know that, we should watch for realized profit distribution right here, and long-term model realized price. Uh, Here maybe we could see their SOPR, if I can find you. Short-term order coin SOPR, for example. Um, this is the SOPR, so the metric is not adjusted, so it doesn't take in consideration. It does take in consideration also the coin that has less than 1 hour. Instead, the adjusted metric is ignoring that input. As short-term holder coin SOPR, so the spent output profit ratio, they are spending, as you see, a lot of the price action uh, or their moves. They are spending at a loss below the one break-even point of all their coins price. Okay, to simplify all this, because I know it's actually a lot for a first impact. Okay, with on-chain metrics, if you are a newbie or you are just beginning to think about on-chain metrics at all. So to simplify this, short-term holders are spending at a loss here. Okay, this is the coins, the SOPR. So SOPR is are we spending at a loss or are we spending at a profit? Below one at a loss, above one at a profit. Short-term holders, less than 5 month hodlers are spending at a loss right here, below one. Meanwhile, the long-term holders are starting spending too at a loss, and we are actually seeing the retest of this one break-even point that they use to exit the market, to realize that they are to make sure to and that they are safe. Okay, and this happens when long-term holders are not sure about the movements in the market. Their behavior is more safe than sorry. So they are taking profit wherever they can, actually, and see. And as you see, it reflects on the price action right here. Meanwhile, in bull market, as you see, they spend at profit, and a really good profit. Actually, as you see, 8.2. It means 8 times what in medium terms of what they bought. So if they bought at 10K, let's make an example, they are actually profiting for an 8x return. Meanwhile, here they are just selling at a loss for less than one return, or one return, just a little bit. Okay, they're not sure about the movements we are expecting in the market, and this is a kind of behavior that's really important for us to notice, because we know now that long-term holders are not sure about the market, and they want to cover themselves as much as possible. Actually, watching this, we can turn back here on realized profit, on realized loss, and watching who is selling at a loss. For example, we were watching the realized profit distribution absolute in terms of profit, but if we watch realized loss, okay, and we assess who is actually selling at a loss about long-term holders. So as we said before, more than 5 months, okay, so 140 day and more, we actually see that more the majority of long-term holders that are now selling at a loss are people that um that I want to get back to my chart from before, so I can help you better right here. Um, where was long-term holder coin super? They're more or less selling at a break-even point, so at one. Knowing that we and knowing that majority of people of long-term holders selling now are from 1 to 2 years ago, as you see here. As you see here, the huge spike is coming from 1 to 2 years hodlers actually. So people who bought right here on more or less the break-even point that we are in now, 31k. So here, 32k. If you watch it back here on June the 20th, we were at 31k. So it's more or less 1 year here and uh, two 1 to 2 years. So maybe people that both right here also is actually selling at a loss. They can take it in anymore from all of this price action, and they're just selling at a loss or are at break even. And this is kind of bad. This is not a financial advice. I have to repeat myself, but I'm I'm not going to give you any tips on any tip of this kind of my Discord. If you had if you had both here and not sold nor here nor here, you should keep hodling and just let it be. Like here, you're better off just hodling your coin, not selling at a loss or a break-even point after 1 or 2 years of hodling. That's not the case. That's not how the money has to be made. So we see that who is spending at a loss is actually 1 to 2 years olders and 6 to 1 year olders also from all of this chart, from all of this downturn, and not very much as you see. If I just take the two from to 3 years, actually there isn't any actual spending behavior from 2 to 3 years or to 3 to 4 years and so on. So there is no actual spending from this kind of long-term holders. More instead from the 1 year and so on holders right here. Short-term holders are obviously for, are obviously the most part of these losses we had on chain. But this we know because from here the supply and loss is just going lower and lower and lower. Is not bottoming yet. We know that the majority is them watching this chart, for example, as a confirmation. It's just an example. You can watch whatever macro picture you can see. We've short to long term holders ratio. For example, if I can find it, um, I can found it. There is a lot of actually right here. There is a lot of ongoing on chain that we may experience. This chart, for example, I talked about on Twitter, is we're bottoming. Meanwhile, we were at the top, signaling that the long term and the short term supply was actually behaving differently from the last all-time high, and this could develop us maybe search for a um, better metric or any other confirmation that this was not a real bounce, bounce on chain to get to 100k and was just that cat bounce. And as you see, percent of supply and profit, as I talked here, that was declining, is not bottom yet. Also, I also made a video of this on my YouTube channel that you should watch about. It's my study case on why it isn't bottom yet. This is the actual chart where it bottom. As you see, we have experienced a bottom here, and it's in the when this metric bottom under 50, okay, we are experiencing a macro bottom on the market. When we are here at the top, more than 90, 95, okay, we are experiencing a top of the market, more or less, or a really, really overheated market. But in most cases, we can watch more accurately for a market bottom right here on this chart than on a market top, because this kind of metric became overheated really fast if we have a price appreciation like that of Bitcoin actually. But as you see, it actually spot the top every time, even if it gets overheated, obviously, because of the price appreciation, of the fast price appreciation of Bitcoins on in the bull runs. um, we saw everything, but we didn't finish here to know who is realizing price, who is realizing profit right here. We see that 3 to 4 to 8 here are realizing huge profits from obviously a lot of time ago. These are years ago. We talk about 2014, 2018. So people who bought back then, 2 to 3 years also, 1 to 2 year also, a little bit less on the last part right here. As you see, they're realizing more or less losses. 1 to 2 years are realizing more losses than profit, um, and so on right here. And less. I mean, and less profit are made from short term holders. Actually, these are kind of isolated. Is 1 week to 1 month are more or less people that bought here and and sold here to that we may see if watching back one of my analysis on the premium Discord. I saw that they were actually really, really taking profit right here, and they said, well, we are not experiencing a real bounce until we are keeping this metric quiet and not taking all this profit right here and right here. As soon as I see this kind of spike on this metric, I know exactly that they are taking profit, and in a bear market, this is kind of making a resistance zone. So you can actually sell the profit too and wait for the next downturn. Anyway, for today, this is it. I think I maybe this video is too long, or I don't know. Let me know if you wanna know some metrics, some things on. I will make you know if I can or not. But almost everything I can, I will explain to you. There's also a macro landscape argument to make here for the Bitcoin chart price and everything else. We can make it on my Discord. And if you like the content, make sure to subscribe, not only here, but on my Discord too. I have a site. The link is in the description if you want to know more about ChainLog's Discord market services. And I'm going to help you as I can. If you buy the subscription, obviously for free, until we have deployed our on-chain courses, and more courses are coming. A lot of courses for people, for every kind of people, experience it and not experience it, market participants of all kinds. But you can see more on the chainlog.info site I have in the description. Anyway, this is it for today. I maybe this will be of any help. And this is Chainlog analyst here. You can follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much for your patience, for your time here, spend it with me explaining all these charts. And we will see when you when we will see. I am every day on Discord making videos like this, so you may subscribe and we'll maybe talk. I have a chat for my Discord chain loggers, where I can talk of everything with you. and help you become better at what you want, with all my experience, and maybe I will learn from you too. This is the great thing about relationships. Okay, this is it. Sorry, I'm going long here. Um, this is ChainLog for today, and cheers.